Imagine where you were when the decision was made. Remember who you were when you made that decision. Now imagine where you will be in 24 hours from now.
We're here to honor my mother, May.
Wow, it's a pleasure to have you here at Celestis. What made you choose the Celestis?
Well, we're both in the space industry, and my mother was an enormous Star Trek and Star Wars fan, and it just seemed like the right thing to do to send her to space on a Celestis flight.
I'm here to honor my father, Raymond Penna. The reason why my father wanted to get on this flight was he actually wanted to get into space while he was alive. Unfortunately, it was too expensive for him, and we found this as an alternative when he passed, and we had numerous discussions about it, and he was anxious to get into space. So we feel very fortunate that we found Celestis, and he's going to have one of his final wishes. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for me. It's, again, fulfilling one of his final wishes, and I can't think of any better way to do it than with Celestis.
Welcome to the official memorial services for the Ascension Flight as provided by Celestis Memorial Spaceflights. We are honored to have our presence, the families of our honored participants, scheduled to make a magnificent journey into outer space.
Welcome to the 18th Celestis Memorial Spaceflight. And yes, I've been to them all. And what's amazing is that each one is special. And the reason that it's special is because of you all. This is your afternoon. This is for you, about you, and because of you. And we want to welcome everyone. Many people have traveled far and have been waiting for today and tomorrow. And we're just glad you're here.
I'm really honored to be with everybody here today. As you heard, my name is Don Thomas. I had the amazing opportunity to fly 4 times on the space shuttle. 3 of those were on Space Shuttle Columbia. Another flight was on Space Shuttle Discovery. And during those missions, I spent a total of 44 days in space. And during that time, I went around the Earth 692 times. I told you the number one change for anybody who has this experience is, you view the Earth differently. You see how fragile our planet is. And the second change that comes over you is you have a more global perspective of your place on planet Earth. You're in for a great experience tomorrow. When they light the rocket, it'll take, 10 or 15 seconds for the sound waves to get to you. So it's going to be silent except for your yelling and screaming that's going to be going on. So the first sign you'll hear would be the noise from all of you, and then you'll hear the roar of the engines, and you'll feel the sound waves coming. And it'll just be a spectacular event. So I would think, tomorrow when you hear that final boom, that's like a salute to your friends and family. Not a 21-gun salute, but this is one heck of a salute, on their final journey to space here.
The idea of sending Donovan's ashes into space didn't come from a love of space, but rather from his ongoing interest in Elon Musk's brain chips. The idea began as more of a what if, a few months after his death. What if we emailed Elon and asked if there was a way we could get some of Don's ashes sent up on a SpaceX launch? Well, we never wrote that email, but we did start looking and found that it was actually possible. As we watch the launch tomorrow, I wish Donovan and all of our loved ones peace above the chaos. And I wish all of us peace in looking up and knowing that they are up there watching over us, and also beside us every day, guiding us to live our best life and honoring them in everything we do.
My husband Stace was a quiet, introspective man who disliked crowds and fuss. He would hate this. He had a quirky sense of humor that his daughter, Caitlin, and I loved, and we would often remind each other of his jokes, silly observations, and stories. I am very grateful to Celestis for the opportunity to fulfill a dream that he didn't even know was possible, and for us to be able to watch his orbit for the next few years. Right on, Stace. Our love follows you to the stars.
In chaos, brilliant life is born. You have enough? As humans, we measure our worth several ways. By the coinage we have and vacation days. Yet Nancy sought to see how each human plays and how we treat each other at the end of our days. Worth is measured in human kindness. You are enough. So if chaos breeds life and kindness is value, then craft your mind each day to pursue, no matter how empty that hole is in you. Your kindness and chaos will give birth to truth.
You do enough, you have enough, and you are enough. We are living stars, and we are all made of star stuff.
I'm Brianna Alonso, this is my brother Tony Alonso. Today we're here to honor my uncle Derek Steven Yanez. I'm not gonna lie, John kind of stole my thunder with the conservation of energy. So I'm kind of going on a whim here. We just saw my uncle as the Funkle. He was wild and a kid's best friend. He suffered from a condition called congenital adrenal hyperplasia, which affects your ability to produce hormones, cortisol, epinephrine, and norepinephrine. But within that, he taught us how to live a life within a number of days. We weren't supposed to meet him. He wasn't supposed to live past 10 or past 40, and we had the privilege for all of those years. So epinephrine and norepinephrine, most people know is fight or flight. And he fought as long as he could, but for now, we chose flight.
It's truly something very special, and I don't think the magnitude of it is realized until you're in person with everybody. You know, I'm not sure how many families are on the flight, but there's 35, 40 families, and just to hear everybody's story who spoke and see the pictures, and unfortunately some very young and, you know, not so unfortunately still the elders that have passed too, but just to be here with everybody and embrace and memorialize our loved ones, and with this send-off of going to space, I never thought that would be possible. So again, it's just very, very heartwarming, and it's something you have to be here in person to truly experience and feel.
When we first found out about this program, we were at the funeral home, and we were going to keep it simple. The cremation, what kind of container to put them in, and just the basics. And at the very end, they said, well, we've got this one other program. We don't know if you'd be interested. As soon as they mentioned it, I looked at my mom. She lit up. My sisters, one by one, they all lit up. We knew it was what was needed. And every single time we have told somebody that this is what Dad is going to do, people light up. There's a spark in their eyes, and smiles come on. The sadness, it doesn't evaporate, but it's replaced by a happy feeling and a happy mood, and something that feels like a contentment has come around.
It was the most amazing experience, I think, one of the most amazing in my life. It's bringing my mother's final wish to fruition. She was going to be an astronaut. She tried to be an astronaut before the program was disbanded, and now she's actually in space, which is something she was never able to do while she was on Earth.
Well, honestly, it's feelings of joy. It's exciting to see him fulfill a lifelong dream, a lifetime of reading science fiction novels and reading articles on space exploration and vacations to Kennedy Space Center, a life of curiosity, and it's just great joy to see him go on his final adventure.
It's very intense. So my grandmother passed away a couple years ago, and I knew her dream was to go to space. She was a lifelong science fan, got her advanced degrees after having 3 children, had the autograph of whoever's ever walked on the moon, and and when I asked her who Carl Sagan was, she looked at me like I just asked who Jesus Christ was. It's just overwhelming that she's finally achieving her lifelong dream of being in outer space and seeing Earth from above. She was fascinated with science from a young age, and that never lasted to the day she died.
That was amazing. I mean, I've been to so many launches, and this one, it was like no other. It was just incredible. Yeah, I feel like it's a great final farewell.
You want a physicist to speak at your funeral. You want the physicist to talk to your grieving family about the conservation of energy, so they will understand that your energy has not died. You want the physicist to remind your sobbing mother about the first law of thermodynamics, that no energy is created in the universe and none is destroyed. You want your mother to know that all your energy, every vibration, every BTU of heat, every wave of every particle that was her beloved child remains with her in this world. You want the physicist to tell your weeping father that amid the energies of the cosmos, you gave as good as you got. And at one point, you'd hope that the physicist would step down from the pulpit and walk to your broken-hearted spouse there in the pew and tell him that all the photons that ever bounced off your face, all the particles whose paths were interrupted by your smile, by the touch of your hair, hundreds of trillions of particles have raced off of you like children, their ways forever changed by you. And as your widow rocks in the arms of a loving family, may the physicist let her know that all the photons that bounced from you were gathered in the particle detectors that are her eyes, that those photons created within her constellations of electromagnetically charged neurons whose energy will go on forever. And the physicist will remind the congregation of how much of all our energy is given off as heat. There may be a few fanning themselves with their programs, as he says it, and he will tell them that the warmth that flowed through you in life is still here, still part of all that we are, even as we who mourn continue in the heat of our own lives. And you'll want the physicist to explain to those who loved you that they need not have faith. Indeed, they should not have faith. Let them know that they can measure, that scientists have measured precisely the conservation of energy and found it accurate, verifiable, and consistent across space and time. You can hope your family will examine the evidence and satisfy themselves that the science is sound and that they'll be comforted to know your energy is still around. According to the law of the conservation of energy, not a bit of you is gone. You're just less ordered.